Hi everyone, welcome to the Healing Guide TV. I'm Carol Serby. Just want to take a minute here and thank you very much for joining me here today. This month, I'm focusing on the Sacral Chakra. January was about the foot chakra, February is about the root chakra, and now we are into March and we are going to deal with the Sacral Chakra. So we're just going to give a few little basics here on checking in with your Sacral Chakra. Before we get started, I just wanted to invite you, if you like what you see here today, please do subscribe to my channel on YouTube, The Healing Guide with Carol Serby. You can also find me on Facebook and at my website at thehealingguide.ca. Any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the box below. I will get them and I will answer them. If you have the question, other people have the question too. So it gives me a really great opportunity to look at those things that people are wondering about and address them and answer them. So today we are talking about the Sacral Chakra. Now your Sacral Chakra is approximately two finger widths below your belly button, okay? It is one of the chakras with the front being the feeling center and the back funnel, which would be your will center. Checking in with your Sacral Chakra, I want you to check in with it, feel it. Feel that belly region below your belly button. And I want you to just be honest with what's going on. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's hounding you with questions, okay? These questions are more for you to answer. They're guidelines for you to be able to. I ask the question, you answer it for yourself, and then it gives you a little bit of a gauge about what's going on in that region of your body. So the first question is, do you have any issues with your hips? You have any hip issues? Chances are there's something going on in your Sacral Chakra. Do you have any issues with your bladder? Do you have constant bladder infections? Or do you have any issues with your reproductive system right now? Are you trying to get pregnant? Maybe you're getting pregnant a little too much. No, I'm kidding. So that's male and or female reproductive systems. How do your waistbands and your belts work for you? Do you find that they're like just really tight and really uncomfortable, which might be an issue of some bloating going on in that region? Or do you feel like you're being cut off? And are you giving yourself support in that region, or are you just kind of ignoring it and saying, no way, Carol, I ain't going there? Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are the creative pleasures in your life? And do you allow pleasure into your life? Now, pleasure can be whatever you decide it to be. It doesn't have to be defined by anybody else. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how does your day play out? Oh, that's a good one, hey? Do you wake up in the morning and you know you have your to-do list and you're able to accomplish all the musts on your list? Maybe you might have a few things left over that it wasn't really crucial if it got done today, but are you able to get all your must-dos done? Be it 2 or 3 things, okay? Does your energy level support you throughout the day? Or do you find yourself tired? Okay? Are you out of shape? If you're out of shape, then your energy levels probably don't support you, do they? Or do you have to nap frequently? Okay? Do you have trouble staying in control of your day? Do you allow pleasure into your day? I've got some prepared notes here, so I'm just making sure that we, don't miss a few things. So we hold abuse issues in our Sacral Chakra. If you answer that you do not allow pleasure into your day, then we might need to look a little bit deeper at your survival patterns. These patterns are a set of rules, core beliefs, contracts with self that we have placed into position to support our experiences. The problem with the core beliefs is that they were developed by your emotional system at the age of about, between 6 months to 2.5 years old. So, I'm sure that you can understand the problem with that. As a responsible adult, you cannot have this inner child, the experiences that inner child has, you can't use those as a gauge to continue on and interact in your adult life. It just doesn't work. A 6-month-old to a 2.5-year-old child just doesn't have the life understanding and the life experiences. However, a lot of us lock our core beliefs into our experiences of those times. Common survival patterns include addiction, and this can be, of course, to substance, to alcohol, sex addictions. Those are kind of some of the standard ones. But what about cleaning? What about substitutes for love? There's all sorts of other addictions out there. So, you got to expand your mind a little bit and ask yourself honestly, do you have any addictions? What about food? Okay. How many of you use food as an addiction? Okay. With body level addictions, that would be substance, alcohol, food, drugs, okay? The body is substituting the physical wants and needs for the addictive substance. So to an addict, the addictive substance feels like love. That's why it's so easy for them to be addicted, because they've correlated the feeling that they get with the eating, with the drinking, with the high that they get from the drugs. They've correlated that with what they feel love would feel like. In creating a hierarchy of love with addictions, we are unable to just allow the pleasure of the addictive item. So I'm sure many of you will sit down, as I do, an evening, and you have a sip of wine, and this is what we're talking about, to allow the pleasure of the addicted item. Okay? I don't have to sit down and take 10 shots. Or I don't do drugs, so I don't even have a point of reference for that. But I do like the odd glass of wine, so I sit down, and as I have a sip of my wine, you can feel the tanginess, on the palate. You can feel it, as you swallow. You can feel the warmth of it on your tongue and down the back of your throat and into your throat, and it feels good going down. And then it gets in your tummy and it warms and it feels good. And you allow that pleasure. Okay? A cleaning addict allows the pleasure of the accomplishment of what they did. Okay? If you can stand back and say, wow, look at what I did, you're not a cleaning addict. Okay? The cleaning addict will go, oh, but I missed that over there. They won't allow the pleasure of the end results of what they accomplished. They'll just see more of what they need to do. Okay? In the shift from the Piscean age to the Age of Aquarius, people are finding these love addictions are just not working. Instead, friendship is becoming the most supportive way to experience relationships. So when I talk about love addictions, excuse me, in creating a hierarchy of love with addictions, we are unable to just allow the pleasure of the addictive item. Pleasure, satisfaction, and fulfillment are all on a level playing field and can be found in many things. However, the addict is unable to attain the personal satisfactions that correlate with these emotions. Never mind trying to be shifted to be addicted to love, joy, or health. They don't allow themselves the emotion of the pleasure, of the satisfaction. Okay? In the shift from the Piscean age to the age of Aquarius, what's happening is we're finding that people that are in love addict type relationships where there's supposed to be love but maybe isn't, or they're looking for love in all the wrong places. We can use all sorts of analogies. They're finding that these relationships just aren't working. Married people that have been together for a long time and truly do love each other are finding that these relationships just aren't working. Instead, what's happening is friendship is becoming the most supportive way to experience relationships. The energy of friendship in the current model of, say, mother and child, husband and wife, is the only saving grace in these relationships. The old dominance governing these relationships is shifting. A child no longer feels obliged to stay in contact with a parent out of obligation. Okay? They truly stay in contact with the parent now out of friendship and out of love. Okay? If you think back even to the days of your grandparents, whether you know your grandparents or not, the era is, you keep that family together, blah, 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 blah. Right? It's not like that anymore. People are becoming friends. And I'm sure there's a lot of child psychologists out there that say you shouldn't be friends with your kids. Well, you know what? Once your kids get to a certain age, yeah, you should be friends with your kids. You should like your kids, and your kids should like you. Okay? Otherwise, they get to an age that they look at you and go, you know what? You really just don't have any more use for me. I'm sick and tired of your crap. And off they go. So we're shifting into more friendships kind of relationships. And those friendships are supportive in the love. The phenomenon of divorce is a truly interesting phenomenon when you talk about these shifts. It's insanely high. Like, it's crazy. And the numbers don't necessarily mean that there's a divorce in the relationship. Now, just bear with me on this for a minute. It doesn't necessarily mean that the people are wanting to divorce. What's happening is there's old energies, old stigmas attached to the way a marriage should look. And what's happening is people are again finding that these stigmas, these dogmas, so to speak, just aren't working for them. So more under pressure of not understanding what these new feelings are, and realizing that you're not working as a couple well in the old dogmas, people just are at a standstill, so to speak, on what to do. They know that's not working. They don't want that. But it hasn't shifted enough yet in order to create new rules that works for them and their relationship. Create the new rules without all the judgment and all the dogma and all the stigma and all the la 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 that comes from that old energy, that old crap. So again, it's not necessarily that people are always wanting to divorce. It's they're stuck in this cycle and they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to be strong enough and be brave enough to create new energies that work for them and their relationship when they've got grandma and grandpa and mother and their mother and father over here going, hey, you guys got to stay together for the kids, and you guys got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to do this. Well, no, you don't gotta. You don't gotta. What you gotta do is you gotta come up with what works for you. Okay? If the one example that I heard that I thought was brilliant. So mid-40s, mid-50s, you know, if your partner's sleep patterns interrupt your sleep patterns and you're sacrificing your health because of it, well, guess what? Why don't you guys go in separate beds? Okay? Separate beds like they did in the TV shows in the 1950s, you know. Everybody slept in single beds. I don't know. Do it. Do it. And then you choose when you want to be together. You choose together when you want to be intimate. And those nights where maybe he's got a big report due in the morning and maybe she's got, you know, a high school counselor appointment meeting or something like that, and you need a good night's rest. Well, who needs to listen to him snoring, and who needs to listen, you know, feel her getting up to go pee 3 times in the night? Do what works for you, okay? Everyone is experiencing this shift, even those that don't seem to be, and they won't understand the new paradigms. That's why you really got to stand strong in your sacral chakra. You really got to stand strong in what works for you. In creating these new patterns, you offer these new patterns as an example for your friends, for your family, for your coworkers. You're standing up and you're owning what works for you and you're owning what's right for you. And in that, you can be the example. Isn't that cool? The shift is about doing what's best for you. What you can do to improve your own energy on a daily basis. Release the paradigms that no longer work for you. Be willing to stop being codependent with another's energy. Learn to be in and love your own energy, and then you will be able to be supported by others. My last piece of advice, do what works for you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you figured out a little bit about your sacral chakra and just learning to check in with it and giving yourself a little bit of insight on what's working for you and what's not, and taking your own personal power and taking your own creativity and using that to make your life work for you. If you like the stuff that you're hearing here on the Healing Guide TV, I ask you to click the little like box down below. I really enjoy doing these. I enjoy seeing the reaction on some of the videos by the people that watch them. Thank you so much for your feedback. Don't forget to like me and subscribe to my blog so that you don't miss one. Thanks. Have a good day. Thank you for seeing me on the Healing Guide TV. I'm Carol Serby. Goodbye.